All right, for today's video review, we're going to be taking a look at Transformers BotBots Series 6 Brocco Lonely. Brocco Lonely here is a member of the Hunger Hubs, the one of the new teams that was added in Series 6. That's basically just like general food items rather than the more sort of like specific things that the previous food group BotBots have been. And yeah, he's a repaint of Fun Gus from Series 1. And I do really like Fungus as a bot, but like, I, I don't know. I don't know that this totally works as a piece of broccoli as well as it could have. Like, if you were going to pick a previous bot to repaint into a piece of broccoli, I think that this mold is the obvious choice. But if they were starting from the ground up and making a broccoli bot, I think that they probably would have sculpted a little bit differently than this. Like, it still does kind of have that weird sort of like, spore, a lot of little mushrooms look going on there. So it's an all right piece of broccoli mode, but if you didn't know it was a repaint, you'd be looking at this and being like, there's something about this that is just a little bit off, that doesn't really feel totally like a piece of broccoli. like, you know, but since it's a repaint, I guess it works well enough. I don't know. This is a character that actually showed up in the BotBots show. It didn't really look like this in either mode, but worth mentioning. But yeah, transformation is of course the exact same as Fungus. You just want to pull up on the whole top section here, and it kind of makes a satisfying little clicky sound. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe. It's a very good like hand feel click. I really like that. But yeah, you pull that up and then kind of angle it back. And then the two sort of like front sections here, you kind of want to grab from underneath, which is the easiest way to fold them out, and just kind of like hinge them off to the side like that. And those will be the arms. And there we have Brocco Lonely in his robot mode. And yeah, he's cute. I like his expression. Again, doesn't look anything like the character in the show, but it's all right. He doesn't really have a ton of paint, which is kind of a bummer, and is something that I've noticed in Series 6. I mean, it's always been a thing with like the repaints of old BotBots, is they just never put the same amount of paint on it. But like, look at what he's got compared to what Fun Gus has got. Like, his entire like interior of his body is like painted and picked out in detail, and I just don't see where the paint has gone on this guy. Like, these little bits are painted that they weren't on Fungus, but that's really it. And I guess like slightly more of the top section here is painted than on Fungus, but I don't think that really accounts for like, all the missing paint. And also like he's got different colors on his face, whereas like he just ends up looking a little bit boring. Man, I don't know. I just feel like the robot mode is kind of a letdown on this guy. And like I feel like they could have gone a long way just by literally giving him the expression that he had in the show. But with all the Series 6 BotBots that showed up in the show, I'm not really sure if the chicken came before the egg, or like, if they decided to make those characters in the show based on the new series that was going to be coming out, or if they, like made the show characters and just made up a few of them, and then the toy designers, like, made some new characters that would kind of fit with those characters. I suspect it's the former, that like when they were making the characters for the show, they were looking at some of the concept designs for the Series 6 BotBots and just changed them in the same way that they did with, all the other BotBots that show up in the show. But it's a little strange. But yeah, I think his robot mode is kind of boring. He's got the same articulation, obviously, as Fungus. You can rotate his arms around. They're on a ball joint, so they can kind of bend in as well. And that's really it, which is, pretty much all you need, if you even need that. But yeah, he's okay. I'd say robot mode for me probably gets a 2 out of 5. I really like Fungus's robot, and a lot of that is due to all the little painted detail and the expression on his face and his little rosy cheeks, and just like being able to pick out the details on the inside of the body, which are ostensibly just like 3 flaps. And they just didn't really do any of that on Brocco Lonely here, unfortunately. So yeah, 2 out of 5. Maybe 3, but no, I'm gonna stick to 2, just because like the no paint is really kind of a bummer. Alt mode, I think I'll give a 3 out of 5. Like, it's fine. I think I gave Fungus a 3 out of 5 as well, because I think that like it's kind of a strange choice to make the mushroom, all the little mushrooms, rather than just making like one big Toadstool, but whatever. But with him, it's just like, yeah, it's passable. I think you can tell what it's supposed to be. It's just like if they were starting from the ground up, that's clearly not the shape that they would have picked to make a piece of broccoli. So it does kind of just like inherently have a repurposed feel to it, which is not great, I guess. And then transformation, I do enjoy. I really like the little satisfying like swoop up. So I'm going to give it 1 point higher than average, so 4 out of 5, which is going to give Bracco Lonely here. What does that give him? 2 plus 4 is 6 plus 3 is 9. An ultimate score of 9 out of 15, which makes him a 2-star BotBot. So yeah, a little lower than average there. Like I sort of feel like if they just made a new mold for this guy, even if it generally had the same transformation scheme, then it would have worked a little bit better. But even repurposing the old mold for this guy, I think it still could have worked if they just made his robot mode a little bit more interesting generally, which is just kind of a bummer. Like, I like the expression. I don't like that it's, one color of the, the eyes. Like, that's something that I've noticed about a few Series 6 BotBots is that a lot of the expressions on their faces are just like one paint color as opposed to previous series BotBots, especially Series 1, where they have kind of a lot going on in terms of different paint stuff, but what can you do? But yeah, otherwise he's cute, a little lower than average, but I still like him generally. But yeah, if you want to get this guy, I think he's in both of the 5 packs of the Hunger Hubs 5 packs. You can get him in either, because I do have 2 copies of him, so surely that must have been the case. But yeah, that's so either of the 5 packs for the Hunger Hubs you'll get a Bracco Lonely. But yeah, if you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And without further ado, here we have BotBots Series 6 Bracco Lonely.